In the holiday, when Cameron Diaz is drinking wine straight from the bottle in the grocery store because she's so frustrated, for being honest, I think a lot of agents have felt that way after this year in real estate.
So true. Also, that's my top favorite movie scene ever. But also when she's trying to fit into that tiny bathtub in the English cottage, that is what so many agents are doing with their marketing.
Right? They're trying to squeeze their personality, their life, and their expertise and everything they know they should be doing into a marketing plan that wasn't built for them in the first place.
Inside Modern Agent Social Club, we give you the space to actually build a brand and a marketing plan that fits you, one that feels fun, personal, and that positions you as the go-to agent in your community.
Now, we want you to make time for cozy nights at home watching movies like The Holiday, but Q4 is your runway for 2026, and our luxury marketing platform is the perfect place to start.
So get out of the tiny bathtub, pour the wine, and join us inside Modern Agent Social Club today so you can start 2026 with clarity and momentum. And I think this year Henry will be a lot more into it. He'll probably be trying to pull the ornaments off the tree. I haven't thought of this yet.
100%.
So
you did not think this through.
You will see. The top half of the tree will be decorated. I feel like we're getting a lot of grandma content lately.
I know, but
which
it just feels so good.
Is everyone on Amazon right now searching fun toaster colors?
You should be. How do I get more leads?
How do I stand out in my market?
Is it unprofessional to talk about my kids on Instagram?
Should I have one account or two?
Do I really need a personal brand as a real estate agent?
We are the Modern Agent Marketing Girls. We are two agents turned marketing experts who believe you can become the go-to real estate girl in your market all because you are you. I'm Chelsea Peterson, founder and CEO of Modern Agent Social Club.
And I'm Kayla Fox, Modern Agent's content creator. Let us be your guide as we talk about what it means to market your real estate business the modern way.
So refill your favorite beverage, open your notes app, and get ready to build a business and a brand you're obsessed with. Let's go. Hi, Kayla.
Hey, Chelsea. Welcome back to another episode of the Modern Agent Marketing Girls podcast. Are you so ready for the holidays?
I am so ready. I wanted to say happy holidays in the beginning of my intro, but happy holidays. It's
there you go.
Here, and I hope my tree is up when this episode airs.
Yes. Well, mine is already up. My kids got real excited, and we usually make a whole tradition out of it. We get all the ornaments out, and I set the tree up, and then all the kids help, and there's a Christmas movie playing and all of that. But this year, actually, it was during Camp Modern Agent, my kids were begging me to get it out. And I was like, I am busy. And so I ended up we actually have our tree. It's always put together because we just slide it into our hall closet. And so I just slid it out. And then I opened up the box of ornaments and I said, I'll be back down when I'm done working. It was the least type of traditional
least
family moment. Yes. But the tree is up and it looked pretty. And so I was like, all right, check that off our list. What about you?
That's all that matters.
Do you make it a big ordeal?
We do a whole thing. I mean, I feel like it's less special since we got our fake tree. I miss the nostalgia of just going to get one. And sometimes it was huge and sometimes it was not that cute and all the things. And it's just, I think that is just more special, but you put your tree up so much later that I don't like that. So we always do a National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation when we put the tree up. I drink a glass of red out of my grandma's snowman wine glass that I always have waiting for me for that day. And then we usually will order pizza or Chinese and just make it a whole little festive night. And I think this year Henry will be a lot more into it than he'll probably be trying to pull the ornaments off the tree. I haven't thought of this yet.
100%. So you did not think this through.
You will see. The top half of the tree will be decorated.
Oh my gosh, we had so many years like that, but it made it so fun. We used to have our old dog. She used to love laying underneath the Christmas tree. I think it felt warm to her. And so we couldn't put anything down around it because she would just slide her way under there and she'd park her little booty and she was happy.
That's so sweet.
Yes. No, I always watch Christmas Vacation when I wrap presents. That's our end of the season. It's almost Christmas. Let's sit down and we'll turn it on in our room and wrap presents all night. And it's so fun.
It's so feel good. I've already had Home Alone on 3 times, in the background when I was making dinner. But I haven't sat down to watch it. So that's different. My husband will be again? And I'm but I didn't sit down and fully focus on this. I need to see
big difference.
I need to see the whole thing.
Yep.
I was trying to convince him into doing a last minute New York trip this year, but we're just so busy. I'm like, I feel like
It
it's
is a
gonna add more
dream.
stress than fun, but
Yeah, for sure. Well, I love it. Well, today we are talking all about holiday content. Have your DMs been blowing up like mine have about like what the heck do I post? What's something cool that I can share? What kind of guide should I make? All of the questions, and they're good
what should we do
questions.
for the holidays? What is holiday marketing? Like, I think when we get to the holidays, we always want to like decorate our Instagrams. Like, how can we make our grid all decked out? Like, deck the halls of Instagram. I think, it's just changed so much than what it was even a year ago, even, especially 2, 3, 4, 5 years ago, in what that even means. And I think, we've been, Adam Mosseri said this, and it's been all over now, but that social media and Instagram, when I say social media, I'm usually talking about Instagram, but it's interest media now. So it's not anymore just seeing like a chronological order of your friends, which that was quite a long time ago. But it's also not just seeing like necessarily what the algorithm thinks you want to see. It's literally showing you what you've previously shown interest in. So I would guess if we all opened our explore feeds right now, whatever you're seeing is going to be different than the person sitting next to you or then your spouse or then us. Like, we're all gonna
Yeah.
have a very different feed, and I think that that's their goal, is to keep us on Instagram for as long as possible, and I think they've done a pretty darn good job of that,
Right?
unfortunately. Like, don't look
Your
at your
screen time notification
Instagram, now,
really
I wanna cry every day,
I
and
know.
it's just too much, but that's what they're doing. So when we think about
Yeah.
the content we're putting out there, it's gonna look a little different than like 12 ways to sell your house at Christmas. It's gonna be a little less like we put the lights on the real estate content and more like, how can we get in front of the people that are gonna be the right fit follower, who's local, who we'd connect with, like all the things we talk about, but then maybe add a little cozy Christmas on top of it, add a little cozy holiday moment. Like, how can we be that this holiday season? And I think it all starts with the question of, what do you want your account to be this holiday season for someone? Like, when you could think of, like, let's say you had 10 local women, moms, whoever would be your ideal person to follow you, click follow on your account and you became friends and they
Yeah.
tell all their friends about you. What would they be looking for? Like, if you can almost like backtrack that way and reverse engineer, what are they wanting to see this time of year? And it, not that we take the real estate out, but it's kind of, we're going to share our lives and we're going to add a splash of real estate and then we're going to decorate it with lights. How does that sound?
Yes, 100%. And it's so funny as you're saying that, you like painted the perfect picture because I'm literally picturing people in my community coming over and like having like a cozy night. And like, would they rather me hand them a pamphlet or a glass of wine? Like, that's literally like the difference here. And it doesn't mean that you have to show behind the scenes of every nook and cranny of your house and suddenly become this like Martha Stewart in your home. But it just means like showing behind the scenes a little bit more and like creating content that only you can create. We've had this discussion so many times on this podcast, but like the whole like 5 ways to whatever type of content, gosh, that was easy to create. Like I sometimes I miss those days as a creator because I could spit out that kind of content all day long. And it was kind of a sad day when you started to realize, wow, that is not resonating anymore. But what's so cool about it is, as a consumer, I'm so thankful that that content doesn't exist or hit as much anymore, because the kind of content that's out there, like on my feed that I'm consuming, is so much more interesting and so much more powerful. And so it's been really fun, even just helping our member. We just got off a member call with some of our members, just teaching them how to like, okay, take this holiday content or take this idea that you've had and let's put your twist on it with your brand so that you can really stand out. And that's something that, you and I can't do for them. Randy can't do that for them. It has to be them doing it, but we can like lead them and show them how to do that. So I love that kind of content now. And again, thinking about what would you rather be handed at a party? That's what you need to think about for your social media.
Do you know what that made me think of is, do you remember the channel that would just like slideshow play houses for sale
Yeah. Oh
from,
yeah.
like, I don't know, the 90s? Like, oh, I hope someone seeing this channel maybe wants this random house in the
Yep.
randomest location. It feels like when I think of content like the 5 ways to, or like, yes, it was easy, but it was kind of like throwaway content. Like, no one was probably pausing to consume it and be like, this is so fun, or I love this. This is so me.
Right.
this makes me wanna look at more, like and maybe in the '90s, that channel was kind of interesting to see, but it almost takes me from, like and I'm kinda side tangenting here. You go from, like, that channel to then, like, House Hunters, which is, like, a little
Yeah.
bit more of the story. Here's what this family's looking for. Here's the 3 houses they're gonna see, and here's the one they buy. And then you go from that all the way to shows like Selling Sunset and Buying Beverly Hills and
Right.
whatever Manhattan, like and so not that we are Selling Sunset or any of those, but the thing that I love so much about those shows, even though they're totally unrealistic and no one can show houses in 8-inch high heels, but I like that that is by far the only one that has any lifestyle component or behind the scenes factor. So if you can even think of yourself as like the local mom whatever version of like I'm going to share my little slice, like hold the drama and all that, but like you have that like more TV episode feel to your content that feels like I want to watch another one. I want to watch another one. I want to watch another one. In fact, one of our members on that call, she was talking about how she just moved to a new city and she started a series that is all about the things she's loving in this new city, and, like, how cool because, again, no one else can replicate that, like, she
Right.
moved there, and so she's sharing the things she loves, and then other people are gonna be like, "Wait, I didn't even know that existed, and I lived here for 10 years or 20 years."
Yep.
So it's really taking, like everything we're gonna talk about today is what is your take? What is your experience? Like, if we were coming through your lens of buying and selling real estate and enjoying the holidays and your favorite things at home and the drink you're drinking and the book you're reading. Like, we want your opinion because no one else can give that, right? So
Mhm.
it's kind of going really deep into whatever your brand menu is, which we talked about a couple of episodes back, and just bringing that forward a little bit more. And maybe you have your little holiday twist and it's not worrying so much about like, I would almost focus more on this is all the time, so I don't know why I'm saying this at Christmas, but, like, on connecting than just, like, creating content. How can we really leverage the time of the holidays to connect more with our people? And we're gonna talk about different ways you can do that today. So, I just made a list, and this list is very basic, but we can touch on some of these things. So, I have
Yeah.
series style content, your regular post, your stories, your emails, your lead magnets, like, where do we wanna start with what they could do during the holidays? Like, I kinda wanna start with series.
Yeah, let's just go in order. I love
Okay.
series. What is a series? For anyone who's listening who's like, "What are they talking about?" How would you define what a series is?
A series is like that episodic content that someone can almost come and they see one, and then they can see another one, and another one, and another one. So that's gonna be like a series of content that has an underlying connected theme. So something where it's like part 1 or part 2 or part 3, and a series could be something just to kind of pull it back a second. You could do a series that happens once a month. You could do a series that lasts for 1 week straight. You could do a series that goes indefinitely and it's a once a week thing. So when we say series, there's not just like a one size fits all way to do one. But when we think about the holidays and like the month of December, you can obviously dig into some series that are going to be more seasonally focused, or it's probably going to end after the holidays end. One that I wrote down because we lean into this a lot is the whole like life of a real estate girl, but like do a holiday edition of it. So like bring people behind the scenes of like not only what am I doing in real estate, but then maybe when you get home, you're watching Home Alone for the 5th time, or you're making a grasshopper because your grandma's coming over and she loves them. Or I feel like we're getting a lot of grandma content
I
lately,
know,
which
but
I
it just
love.
feels so good.
I know. So, like, even something that simple so it's like a spin on a day in the life, right? It could be anything from it doesn't have to be this fancy put together reel, it could be a simple carousel where you share these, like, snapshots of, keyword, your real life behind the scenes of real estate. So, not only, like, little real estate things, but maybe you're going to show houses and you have your cute little holiday coffees you picked up for your buyers on the way from the local coffee shop, and then you have, like, dinner that you got on the way home and you're gonna go watch Home Alone, like so these types of content don't need to be these, like, perfectly produced pieces of content, but
Yes.
instead just pull little slices of your life from your camera roll, and obviously you have to be mindful to capture those, right? But you have these little things you can share, and you don't need to share, like, 20 slides either. Some of my absolute favorite pieces of content have 2 to 3 slides. In
Yep.
fact, I shared one last year, and I had this beautiful cardigan that I got from Anthropologie, and then I had this set from I think it's from Nudes, but it was just, like, the coziest outfit, and I felt like elevated, but very work from home casual. And that was like the cover photo. And I don't remember what it swiped to, but my post was so simple. It said like two things. I'm living in this set from nudes or whatever. And then the second thing was related to modern agent. So like pairing the business with the lifestyle, like posts like that, just invite someone in to see this tiny little snippet, tiny little takeaway, even if the takeaway is nothing more than I should probably get on her email list, which is actually a big takeaway. And
Yeah.
oh my gosh, I really wanna get a comfy set to wear to work from home in. Like, it's so
Yes.
valuable because you're giving someone this little, like, piece of joy to take with them or this little idea that will make them more comfortable. So, like, knowing what you wanna be as an account, you can create content that relates back to that. And if you do it as a series, once a week, you could share a 2 to 3 slide thing of, like, life of a real estate girl, and each week could be, like, the thing you're loving during the holidays, and one could even be, like, pairing Home Alone with, responding to client emails, or you're gonna combine that content cocktail over and over, but it's going to be more, like, specific to the time of year, which makes someone
Yeah.
follow along. Because like, when you have a part 1 or, like, this is my you can tell when it's a series because it's like a theme, it has a title, it has a name, then people follow along and they can't wait to see the next one, they can't wait to see the next thing she recommends or her next favorite thing or her next go-to takeout spot, like, in whatever direction we're going, which I kinda just listed a bunch of ideas there in that little splash. What do
I
you like
love
for
it.
series content?
Oh my gosh, I know, I'm, like, brainstorming so much. Well, a couple of years ago, we did a story series in Modern Agent, what was I think it was called Homebody Holiday, and we had the series where, like, every day there was, like, a graphic that you could share in your stories that, like, just encouraged them to do something in your city or something at home that was, like, holiday-ish, right? Well, that kinda content is just not working anymore, like, no one wants to just see a graphic, no one wants to be told what to do, whatever. So this year, actually, I don't even know if you know this or not because Randy and I talked about it, and I don't think we ever actually talked it over with you. But we put a twist on that. We added that back to the content, but we made it more like just little prompts to have our agents show people what they were doing at home or what they were doing in their life, like little tiny snippets that like made it feel like the holidays. So it's not even necessarily like, oh, you have to show up every day in your stories and share these things, but it just gives you that like daily prompt of like, oh yeah, when I do see it snowing out the window, if I just take a quick little video, that's what I add to my feed or to my stories. Or when I stop and get like that hot coffee from the local coffee shop, like I take a little video, and that like it also feels like warm and cozy. So just like those little like homey, like cozy little like nuggets that you can be documenting, but then sharing in your stories. And then of course you can always like save those and use those in reels. And you could do some kind of reel series that's like, wintering in city name the only way I know how. It could be a 10-second long clip, and you could share one of those every week for the month of December. Frankly, you could do that all through February, right? Like you could just share a little something, but just have like those little cozy moments. It's so simple that it feels like it's not important, but it's this simple little pieces of content and the simple little things that you share that build that connection and that make your feed the one that they want to like engage with and like hang out in and like respond with. And then of course like you could always mix in a little bit of real estate there because what are you doing in the winter? Oh, you're also meeting with clients, you're also showing houses, you're also looking at the MLS. Like all of those things can be included as you are also hanging up ornaments with your kids or whatever else.
I like on the homebody topic too. If that's your brand, like that feels like you're going to connect with everyone else who feels that same way. Especially, I feel like almost even if you're not quite a homebody, you turn into like a little bit of one during the holidays because you want that like nostalgic, the
Yeah.
Christmas lights, the coziness, the warmth. Like it's freezing outside potentially, maybe not. But I
Right?
love even like bringing people into your own home and doing little things like 5 ways I'm making my home or my life more cozy this season as a
Yes.
city name real estate agent. Like, you can tie that in, and even throughout a piece of content like that, not only could you share, like, I totally made this corner my cozy corner, and that's, like, your home thing, but you could also share things like, "This is what I'm bringing to showings throughout the month of December," or, "This is what I'm doing to celebrate closings in the month of December." So you bring that little pop of your business in, and you add that little seasonal flair to that too. Another thing I really love is because we always talk about selling the lifestyle of a home, like, don't think about the house data, but think about what is the life that they're gonna live there and how can we, like, focus on those features, but painting that picture of, like, you're not just buying a house, you're buying dot, 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 and, like, listing the things that relate back to Christmas or relate back to the holidays and have that warm, cozy vibe. Like, don't give up the fireplace if that's really on your deal breaker list, right? Like, if you really want a fireplace, like, make sure you can either add one or there is one. Like, kinda just leaning into those cozy moments and then while also making it about real estate. Even your listings, like, are you doing anything special to your listings during the month of December that you could tie that into, like, how I'm making my own home and my listings cozy, like, or recommending that my sellers do? So the common thread here is it's coming from your perspective that only you can create,
100%. Yep.
and it's not copy paste content that like, I want you to always ask yourself this question, and this is how you will make sure that your content stands out and doesn't blend in, is is this piece of content I'm about to share something that any other agent in my market could post? And if the answer is yes, then look back at it and think, what could I change in this to make sure it's coming from me, to make sure that it's my own?
Yes.
And that could be using the word I or my, just like in those simple things like 5 ways I'm doing this,
Mhm.
or the things
Yep.
that I'm doing this season, or like that makes such a big difference in even how someone reads the piece of content because they'll think like, I want to know what you're about to tell me versus just like a fact.
Yep.
We're not really looking for facts on Instagram. We're looking for like the common interest. And that's where we can pop in and be like, hey, here's what I'm doing and here's what's working for
Yes.
you.
Yeah, you're looking for, like, an escape. Like, you're looking for something else that you can be a part of that, like, feels good. I love all of that for series, and really all of those things, like you mentioned, those could be stories, those could be posts, those could be reels, like any of those things. But as far as like posts and like even actual like real estate content, right? Like that's all a lot of like behind the scenes, just like how you're like loving where you're living right now, which again, you tag real estate in. But is there any kind of like real estate content that makes sense to share during the holidays? Or is that just, like, too heavy?
I think it just depends on what the rest of your content is, to be honest. I think if you are typically very heavy on real estate content, it would be weird for it to disappear.
Mhm.
Maybe if that's the case, you should reanalyze what your content looks like to begin with, but I
Yeah.
don't think that it needs to disappear. We don't need to, like, be secret real estate agents during the month of December. It's not like we're working for Santa on the down low. Like, we
Right?
are still selling real estate, and I think that I mean, to be honest, social media is gonna be so noisy during I mean, it is anyways, but during the holidays, like, there's gonna be so much, like, gift guides and drink ideas and recipes and hosting, and, like, that's where everyone's heads are at.
Yeah.
So if we're over here trying to say like, "Oh, but, like, just look at this real quick, like, just look at this real quick,"
Yes.
like, it probably won't resonate quite as much, so the more we
Mhm.
can just mesh that real estate into the real life, especially just in this time of year. One thing that I think and this is kind of going away from posts, but if you can have some type of a lead magnet that is going to keep growing your email list, where you can then nurture these people and have this little pop of a PS that has to do with real estate, or you have some emails that are about real estate. Like that's almost how I would go about December a little bit more than focusing on like, oh, I'm going to try to convert these followers into buyers right now. But I still think there's something to be said about like, there's always going to be someone who's ready to move.
Yep.
My whole thing is like the way that we teach agents to be online is to position yourself as someone's go-to so that they know who they're going to before that immediate need to move might come up for those people who don't have a choice, right? You want to be that person. Like they want to have
Yeah.
that person they trust that they feel comfortable talking to, especially if it's in this like time of stress or pressure. Like the last thing I wanted to be doing is moving during the holidays. So like if
Yeah.
I did make any real estate content, I would probably be in the angle of that. Like probably don't want to move right now. And if you find yourself in this situation, here's what I would do, like, or telling a story without confidential details that would relate to someone else who might be like, I think I need to do this. I know this is a terrible time, but this is just what needs to happen. I might leave that in an email or like versus real estate content. But I think there's something to be said about getting not vulnerable, but just share it like a permission slip. Like if this is you right now, like it is okay. And it's not ideal to have to do that. But it just makes someone feel seen who is probably in that situation. Now, the amount
Yeah.
of people in that situation that are following you is probably pretty small, but I
Yeah.
don't know, what is your take on it?
Yeah. I mean, I completely agree with you. We were just talking before we hit record about how my mom is a real estate agent And she just had someone reach out to her too and just said, like, I know this is terrible timing, but I have got to get this house listed. And she just experienced something really tragic that she was not anticipating. And that's just it. Like, life does happen. And, whether it's, death or divorce or a job loss or whatever that looks like those things are still happening in the magical world of December. But like what you said, like what matters most is that that person knew exactly who to call. Like she already knew my mom was her agent long before this ever happened. And it made it so easy for her to reach out. And it made it easy for even my mom to like guide her and like give her the best advice, but also be super compassionate. When you market your business in that way, you see people at their lowest, at their highest, like, all different stages of life, but they come into the whole transaction already trusting you and already knowing that they're in good hands with you. And how much easier is it to guide somebody when they're shaking their head yes at everything that you're saying, you know?
Yeah, the trust is so important. So even if during the holidays, that means like, okay, my goal is to be the account that I become someone's go-to this season. Like that
Exactly.
could be your goal during the
Yeah.
holidays versus being like, I need to find the buyer and seller today on here. It's like, no, I'm going to be this person who's approachable and they feel like they know me and they build
Yes.
like there's a level of trust that has already been established because of how I put myself out there and that they feel like they can come and talk to me. In fact, I was just making a post randomly and I was putting like what is something that would truly make someone feel comfortable with their agent? And I talked about the whole beverage test, which I've talked about before, and like would I want to go get and it doesn't have to be an alcoholic beverage, but would I want to
Mhm.
go have a cup of coffee with this person? Would I
Mhm.
want to sit down and actually talk to them? And the post was about that angle of like find an agent you'd want to have a cup of coffee with because
Yeah.
that's where you're going to feel that comfort and that trust. So like how as the agent can you create your content that's going to give someone that feeling? And have you heard like we've talked about this, but like how we're in like a trust recession right now?
100%. Yeah.
However, like not everyone's businesses are struggling. And I think the difference between the ones that are and the ones that aren't are the ones that are not struggling. It's because they have that personal brand that people feel like they know. So that level of trust has already been kind of checked off in their consumer's mind where they're like, oh, if I need an agent, I'm going to go to her. Versus
Yeah.
like if you don't have that with people and you don't have that brand yet, and it's okay, like you still can get there pretty quickly then people are going to be more skeptical or like, well, I don't know, like if you're the right fit or I don't know. Like we want to use social media really to remove the skepticism from the right fit
Yeah.
people. And if we think about like what we're posting, what we're sharing and what we're leaning into, whether it's the holidays or not, like if we can do it in a way that removes that skepticism, that makes us the easy choice for them.
Yeah. I completely agree with that. So how do you do that if you are busy right now? Like if you're an agent who is either really busy with real estate and you're like, I don't have time to come up with all these series, or if
Mhm.
you are an agent who is just busy because you're Christmas shopping and your in-laws are coming over and all of that, like what would be like the low-hanging fruit for them to go for?
If you're truly busy and you don't have but, like, you have a ton of clients, you're like, "I'm not necessarily looking for more clients, but I'm looking to, like, maintain this level of trust, continue building my brand, get in front of more people, whatever." Maybe you want better clients that won't make you run around all over the place, or you wanna stop driving an hour and a half in this direction.
Right.
Your lowest hanging fruit is Instagram stories
Yeah.
because you can get your face on there, you can get more personal, there's no really curated content around them, but it's allowing you to show up day to day. Because here's my question if you're really busy, do you have just 1 minute? If you have just 1 minute, call it 5, because if maybe you add text and all the things, but, like, if you have 5 minutes a day that you can focus on showing up on your stories, and maybe it's at the end of the day, maybe you don't even worry about posting to them until you're sitting down on your couch at night, kids are in bed, and you finally have, like, your hour to yourself to turn on a cheesy Hallmark Christmas movie or whatever.
Mhm.
Like, that could be your moment that you go grab a few things from your camera roll, or you maybe even just go on your stories real quick with your face, and you share
Yeah.
something that happened today, question that someone asked you, where you went to lunch. I mean, it doesn't need to be overthought. It's literally thinking, what did I do today? And you bring that into your stories. Or what question did I answer today? I'm going to talk about that in my stories real quick. You get that face to camera connection, even if that only happens once a week, and you're getting people in that behind the scenes feeling that continues to build and elevate that trust. So even if you don't have time to physically post to your feed, that's going to keep you afloat with the people who are already following you because the ones that are seeing your stories. So if you're like, well, maybe you right now don't care about more followers, you don't really care about that level of growth, but you do want to nurture the people that are there because you want more referrals or better clients, or you want to attract more of the right fit people, that's where you're going to go. That's like the easiest thing to do. And during the holidays, I mean, you could sit there and take a picture of your TV screen with your little
Yes.
merry mocktail and then talk about what you did today. Like, it doesn't even have to necessarily be this face to cam moment every time, but if you can work that in once in a while, and it could be in your car, like right before you get in the house for the day, pop on your stories real quick in your car and share something simple.
Exactly. Well, and even thinking about like how to add like a holiday splash to it, like even if you just continue sharing in your stories like you always have, whether you're super good at it or not, but whether you just, if you think, okay, I can't afford to change everything right now, how can you add some like holiday elements to that? There's a really easy things to do. First of all, like having like a festive color on, right? If you have like a bright red sweater or a green sweater or whatever like you love to wear that just feels like Christmassy and like cozy and fun, even if it's like white, but it's like super fuzzy and fun, or you got a cute jacket or a hat or whatever, like even what you're wearing can give off those like holiday vibes, even if you're just continuing to share how you always do. If you're going to take a little like picture of your desk as you're getting ready to work, just be mindful like of what's in it. Like again, like right now I have like a green pen on my desk. That would be perfect to like put next to a little notebook or whatever. Having like a cute little mug that you drink out of, like what you said earlier, like just those little elements. Not that you have to become this like full-time content creator who like everything is so precious, but if you can stop for 10 seconds and just think to yourself, what could make this look a little bit more like festive, even as you're just sharing, because the chances are great, even if especially if you're at home, there probably are things around you that are super easy to like include. If you're reading a book and you want to take a picture of the book that you're reading, hold it in front of your Christmas tree and snap the picture and be like, I'm loving this book right now. Like, what should I read next? Like that right there is like festive, homey, warm content. And it's literally just being more mindful of the background. Hey, we have big goals for you to help you sell more houses, build a brand you love, and become the go-to agent in your community.
And we are working hard to make that happen, from preparing new podcast episodes every week to creating free resources to constantly improving the Modern Agent Social Club membership so marketing feels easier and more effective for you.
We also have big goals for this podcast to get these conversations into the ears of more agents who are desperate for that same transformation.
If this show has helped you this year, it would mean so much if you left a 5-star review to tell us something you like about the show. And when you do, you can email a screenshot of it to support@modernagentsocialclub.com for a free gift from us.
Another thing you could do, share our show with a real estate friend. You'll be their hero for sending them an hour of encouragement each week, and it takes less than a minute.
And meanwhile, we'll be over here brainstorming more ways we can support you and your business. Okay, back to the show. That also, I feel like if you're repeating some of those visual elements, it will feel like a series, even if it's not. Like, it's going to give that effect of like, there it is again, or like, oh, I think, not to be like a broken record about Jessica Garvin, but Jessica Garvin, every holiday season, she has like her go-to anthropology icon glass.
Mm-hmm.
So like every day she had this black ghost mug in her hand in every piece of content. And I'm like, it's seasonal without even, she's not like she's talking about like 5 things to do for Halloween. She's just like talking to the camera with her mug. So like that little element can make it more fun. The other thing I would do is, whether you're busy or not, like try to just romanticize the season, even if it's in one simple thing a day, like using that cute mug, and then you go on your stories. I actually have this screenshot from a new member. She said, I'm a new member and I love everything Modern Agent, but also I feel like I'm romanticizing my life too, which makes me really appreciate the beautiful moments, the fall leaves, the campfires, the local businesses, the pretty houses, and I'm enjoying my marketing more. So think of that. Like, even if this is how you can also have built-in accountability, if you want to kind of do a daily quick story and you want to pick your little visual element to put in there, or your romanticized moment, like I'm going to enjoy my coffee while it's hot, or I'm going to light a candle, or I'm going to put something really yummy in the diffuser, or I'm going to make sure I take time to stop at a local spot every Friday. Like, come up with something that can become a ritual for you this season and then document it. And that will become, like I said, a series kind of organically. You don't have to like create it or name it or do
Yeah.
any type of like influencer stuff. It's just going to happen. And that's like the cool thing about a lot of what we talk about all the time. When you start to follow even just like one of the things we're saying, you start to build your brand without even thinking about it. It just starts to happen, or it starts to build
Yes.
or grow or just become a lot more memorable and powerful. So doing these little things might seem like, well, how is that going to build your brand? But when you do it repetitively and people keep seeing it, that's where the magic happens. That's where they're like, wait,
Yeah.
I come to expect this. Feels reliable. This feels like someone I can trust. Like I can picture her drinking that coffee in the red Santa mug every morning now. Like it's so cool how these visual cues can become these pieces of our brand that stick in people's brains that they're going to think about long after you show them the story that you did.
Yeah, exactly. And it just makes your life more fun. We always say modern agents have more fun. Like just those little tiny things, like even if it brings you a tiny little bit more joy. I said, gosh, was it the beginning of this year? We needed a new toaster. And I got like a fun bright yellow toaster. I'm not even like a yellow person, but when I saw this thing, I think I just got it on Amazon. But when I saw it, I was like, that is the cutest thing. That will add so much like fun and like joy to my kitchen. Like I'm getting it. And it literally, like it sounds so stupid, but it literally brings me joy when I see the toast pop up out of this cute little yellow toaster. And it's funny, it's like a conversation piece too. Like when people come over, they're like, oh, that's so cute. Where'd you get it? Like it's interesting, right? And I could have just gotten a black one or a stainless steel one or whatever, but like taking those tiny, I didn't spend any more on it than I would have anything else. It's just being more mindful of things. And when you do the work, especially like how we teach our agents, like when you do the work of learning your personal brand and really like laying it out, like you can't unsee those things anymore. Like it's like once your eyes have been open to it, now you're like, that is on brand or that feels like me and that's what I need. And then other people see those things out there too, and they'll think to themselves, that looks like something Chelsea would love, or that looks like something Kayla would have. You know what I mean? Like just those little tiny things, it all works together in like this like beautiful concoction of like modern marketing. And it's so fun.
It's like a modern agent snow globe.
Yeah,
Like,
that's a good
what's your
visual.
yellow toaster moment for this season? Just pick one little tiny thing. And it doesn't necessarily have to even be every day, but even if you did it like every week where you went and got the local coffee and you shared what you got, or you shared your little cup in front of the outside of the coffee shop, like just start having fun with it. Like it shouldn't be a chore. It should be like what this is the thing that we miss is that when we have more fun doing the marketing stuff, then we show up
Mhm.
more and then it becomes
Yes.
more impactful. So, like, when you're having
100%.
fun with it and it doesn't feel like this, like, "Oh my god, like, I can't believe I have to do this." When you have fun, then you're gonna be
Yeah.
like, "I'm gonna do it again. Like, that was fun." Or like, "I like that picture I took." Or like, "I wanna share this now." And then the
Just like when you get your
conversations
hair
flow.
done, when you have the
Yeah.
like an outfit you feel good in, like you're like, "Well, I'll go do pictures right now. Like, let's go." Like it just feels good. I agree.
Yeah, and it can be a mirror selfie. Like, it doesn't even have to
Yeah.
be, like, pose or, like, awkward. Like, just do a mirror selfie. Take a quick little, like, regular selfie, and it could be, like, maybe you have cute earrings for the season or, like, what is your yellow toaster moment? I wonder if
Yeah.
everyone, like, on Amazon right now searching, like, fun toaster
That's
colors?
so funny. You should be. I actually I think it was beginning of this year. I made a reel about it. I'll have to link it in the show notes. Cause yeah, I was like, you know what? Like I am going to like stop and pay attention to these things because I think especially like, as a busy working woman, right? And as a mom and all of those things, like you think the last thing you think about is yourself. Like you're always thinking about other people, what everyone else needs, what your kid needs. Like they need new clothes, they need new shoes, they need whatever. And like no one's telling us not to do things for ourselves, but except ourselves. Like why are we doing this to ourselves? So yeah, I feel like that kind of got off the topic of holiday content. But when you do understand that concept, it makes holiday content come a little easier and be a little bit more fun to create. So do you want to get into like lead magnets? Like what
Yeah.
kind of lead magnets would you do at this time of year?
So I feel like the traditional go-to in our heads is like, well, I'll do a holiday local guide, right? Like, and that's great. But what if instead of just doing a holiday local guide, because remember the question I asked a few minutes ago, could any other agent in my market make
Mhm.
this? The answer is yes. They'd probably be a little different, right? But the
Yeah.
goal isn't so much to share every single thing to do in your city, but it's what is your version of the holidays in your city? Like, what does it look like for you to enjoy the holidays? Like, it could be whether it's local event specific or it's local
Mhm.
thing specific, or maybe it's even more nitty-gritty, and I'm talking like a signature guide. Do we wanna get into that just, like, briefly? We won't go, like, super
Yeah.
heavy on this, but having a signature guide that might be like holiday movie pairings and local takeout.
Yep.
Like, something just fun, if that's your personality, if you're such a movie girl and you wanna support, like, local with takeout stuff, like, it could be something like that. It could be something that is gonna make someone think like, "Well, I need this right now, and no one else can create that. I wanna know her recommendations." That's what we're talking about when we say, like, a signature guide or something specific. If you are like, maybe you are a local mom and you wanna just share, like, "Here's what me and my family do every December in this city," and you're literally sharing your things. Like, list out what would your ideal day be on a weekend in December. It could be like, I'm getting coffee here, we're going to this sledding hill, we're gonna come home and bake cookies, and then we're probably gonna watch one of our favorite holiday movies, and you list some of them. Like, that could be a signature guide. And it
Yeah.
might seem weird, like, where's the real estate in this? But there's no real estate in a fall local guide either. So it's basically or a holiday local guide. It's basically taking that concept and making it way more unique to you that is this very, like, quick to consume, simple, focused topic. Like, being specific makes whatever you're doing stick out and makes it stand out and makes it stick in their head, and that's what makes that memorable to someone and be like, "Oh, Chelsea's the one that shared the local takeout and the Aveline wine pairings," or whatever, you know? Um,
Yes. Yeah,
so
that
it
feels so much like you.
yes, it feels so much
Yeah.
like you, and you can what else I love about these is you can take away the holiday part and come January, and you could still have it operate like whatever those, focus topics are, but you just shift it to a different time of year, and it becomes this evergreen piece of content, because I think we spend, like, so much time putting together these really long holiday guides that are beautiful and amazing and have all these local things in them, but at the end of the day there is a chance that that content is blending in because it's something they could get on Google or from a local Facebook group or whatever. Like, how can we kind of have our own angle to it? And then that makes them getting it from us
Right.
the only one they could get it from, right? Like, we're the only person who could provide that piece of content to them.
Yeah, exactly. And it's more fun to consume too. And by the way, you can always tie something back to real estate, right?
Mhm.
Like we were even explaining in like our member call earlier, like okay, maybe this is all about like local things and like things that are like for moms or whatever. Like maybe that's the kind of guide that you're creating. However, you can always tie it back even just by putting something at the end that's like, when I'm not busy showing houses and city name, these are the kind of things that I'm doing. Or the opposite, when I'm not doing all of the things I just mentioned in this guide, I actually am showing houses to all these people and I'm helping first time home buyers or I'm helping whatever. Like, this is what I do. If you want to know more on that, like, click here. Because here's the deal, like, it is so tempting to get stuck in this rut of like, I need to share all my expertise. I need to share all my knowledge. I need everyone to know I'm a real estate agent. And while we feel that way, we have to remember that most people are only moving once every, what, maybe 7 years, sometimes more often, sometimes not often enough. But if they're only moving a few times a year, and yes, well, everyone's always going to know someone who's selling or whatever, like the idea is as a real estate agent, your goal should be to get in front of as many people as possible and form some kind of connection, if not multiple connections, to where you stay top of mind in their heads. So whenever they run into anybody in town who's also moving and needs a realtor, like they think of you. That's the power of lead magnets. And what I love about some kind of holiday magnet or some kind of like signature guide, like we just talked about, is while it's specific, it also still casts a wide net because you're not just looking for buyers or sellers. You're looking for anyone in this city who likes this thing or who would be interested in something like this. And when you cast that net and then you collect all of those email addresses, and then all of a sudden you're able to get in front of those people once, twice, sometimes 3 times a month with your email list, not even including all the times that you're posting and getting on stories and all of that, you suddenly have so many more points of contact and so many more opportunities to stay top of mind with them. That's the whole point of it. So while we love a good seller guide and a good buyer guide, and there's a place for those things, those are not the lead magnets that are going to get you the most amount of people on your email list to stay in front of. They're going to bring in hot leads. If someone signs up for it, they're rip roaring and ready to go. That's great, but you're not going to have as many of them. Unless you're in, like, maybe you're in a town where there's lots, like if you're like in like Nashville, or if you're in like Florida or something like that, where a lot of people are moving to it, or like they want a vacation home, that's a different story. But for the average like small town agent, or even an agent in a city who, if it's not like a vacation destination, that's just kind of the reality.
Yeah, I think too, thinking about things that your ideal client would want in a home, like knowing, okay, a lot of my ideal clients are they would want a bigger kitchen, or they would want more space outside, or they would want privacy. And leaning into some aspect of that within a signature guide could also work. Like I have this book, I just wish I had a bigger kitchen
Hmm.
by Kate Strickler. I haven't read it yet, but it gave me these like content ideas of like how many times have you heard like another woman say like I just wish I had a bigger kitchen, right?
Right.
So how could you almost lean into something like that in a signature guide, and maybe it's like here's how to best utilize the kitchen space you have. Here's some of my ideas, right?
Yep.
But then at the end, you could bring the real estate aspect in and say like, "Hey, if you do want to start a home search to find that house with a bigger kitchen, here's what's next." So
Yeah.
you're almost like it's like a double whammy. You're still going to grow your list and cast that wide net because you're focused on local women who want a bigger kitchen, and you're going to give them some ideas for how to make theirs the best it can be right now. So it's like permission slip style marketing, but then you had that added part on there that invites someone in who's like, yeah, I do kind of want to see what's out there. Maybe we should start looking, you know?
Yeah.
So like it can also work that way where we don't ever need to leave real estate out. We need to weave it in more strategically so that we're not alienating the people who aren't there right now, but we're also inviting in the ones who are. And I think when we translate that into content, we try to go either or. Like we're either going all real estate or all this. And it's
Hmm.
the magic happens when they're blended together in that way, like in that example or in some of the other examples that we've shared. And one thing you can really do is when you are sharing your life and you're sharing those behind the scenes moments of different things, like what do you find yourself always sharing? Like, is it the show you're watching? Is it the wine you're drinking? Is it the book you're reading? That's how you can kind of think about like, well, how could that relate into a signature guide? How could that relate into this other thing? Because when you cast that wide net to build your email list that way, even if you weave in the real estate part, you're going to build business for the long term, not just for today.
Yeah.
So, yes, the person getting the seller guide tomorrow could be a hot lead, but then what about in March? What about in June? What about in October? So, if we can focus on like if we have this group of people we're nurturing and that list keeps building and they're local and they know people who are moving too, they can refer us to people, that's going to be like a bigger bang for your buck essentially, right? And you can still have that seller guide or that buyer guide 100%. But when you add on this one that's going to just be this invitation to someone, kind of connect with you on that next step, like, okay, you like my content here. You always watch my stories. Now what? I
Yeah.
think you're going to like this thing that I made. So that's what we have to think about. And then the email is there's a lot of ways you can weave real estate style calls to
Yeah.
actions into that very not aggressively, but obviously at the same time, because it's an email, right? You could have a featured section where every week that features something to do with real estate or some type of a, if you want this, this is for you type of a thing. And that calls in the right people.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. Well, yeah. So real quick, like we've talked about like some kind of local holiday guide or having a twist on it, or even like series style content, all you can do. But what about just like local content in general? Like what kind of local content around the holidays is good to share, is powerful to share, and how can people put like their own twist on it?
I feel like I'm repeating myself, but it's going to be the things that you love to do that are local. And you
Yeah.
could make it like I like to gamify things. In fact, I saw this reel that said something like if your last 5 deliveries were from Amazon and you're sad that local
Yes.
businesses are not surviving, you're part of the problem. And I was like, "Oh my God."
Yep.
Not that they're from Amazon, but from online destinations, right? And I think that that's like that like fired something up in me and I was like, I want to do all my Christmas shopping
Yeah.
locally this year. And I put it in my stories. So like it could even be something like that where you
Yes.
decide to like set out to I'm going to support local this season, come with me to shop
Yes.
locally and here's where I'm shopping. And
I
you could just
love that.
quickly document each little piece of place you go and maybe even, oh, well, while I'm out shopping, like even I seriously talked to my husband about this and we said like, let's pick a day in December. We picked our day because we're like, that month is going to fly by.
Mhm.
Let's get a babysitter and we'll go do the shopping locally and we'll go get lunch at one of our favorite local spots. So like think of
I
all,
love
not only
that.
the places I can document, but
Yep.
like you could bring someone along for that journey. I mean, in the case of us doing it in one day, that'd be you could either spread that out as multiple pieces of content, or you could just kind of have it be a thing that you share
Yeah.
like as a reminder for other people to do too. And you could like break apart those clips, whether it's in stories or reel, it doesn't matter. It's
Yep.
just the fact that you're sharing, this is what I'm doing. And like, how cool, like to support local. Like when you go
Yeah.
tag that local boutique and you're like, I just got half my Christmas gifts here. Think of how
Yes.
that person's gonna feel.
Oh,
Like
yeah.
that is crazy.
Dude,
They're gonna know you. They're gonna know
yeah.
you from that point on.
You know what else you could do too is you could create like a story or like a series of stories like, hey, I'm come with me to go shopping at these places to find like Christmas gifts. But then as you're doing that, you could literally be like taking snapshots of all of this and then create some kind of like local gift guide. And that can be your freebie. And it can be like all the things I loved in city name for whatever. And like literally break it down for like for the kids, for your husband, for whatever. Like break it down in a few different categories, snap a bunch of photos. Like think about how, first of all of those local boutiques are going to be sharing exactly what you just did. And it doesn't have to just be boutiques either. It could be like if the hardware store has a really great deal on paint and it's for the person who wants to redo their living room, like whatever it is, like it can be so many different places. If you document that, put it all together in a guide, and then especially if people already saw you like creating that and they already saw like you going to the store, all that, like you just created this like journey style content that led to this lead magnet that everybody's gonna want to see the end product, especially,
Mhm.
oh my gosh, think of it this way. What if you get on stories and you're like, hey, where should I go? What should I look at? Like, what do I need to check out? And then if you do, people love giving their opinions and love giving their like take on things. And then all of a sudden they open up your guide and they see the thing that they told you to do in there. They're going to feel like they were a part of that. They were part of something bigger. And then they're going to want to share that with people. I'm going to add that to our content.
I love it. Do you know what else I love is when you ask a question like that to your followers, every time I'm like, turn it into content, turn it into content, turn it into content. So your content becomes, I asked all of my city name followers where to go for this, what they
Yes.
said. And now you have a carousel post literally with whatever they told you. It's not even content you're creating, but again, it can only come from you because only you can
Yes.
share what your followers told you. So it's still super unique. It's still so specific. And that feels so fun. Like, and you
Yeah.
bring them along on the journey during in stories. They see that the question was asked, right? Like a lot of times too, when questions like that get asked, you want to see what everyone else said. So
No,
even
yeah.
saying like, you want to see what everyone else said? Look what I made. And it could be a guide or a carousel post. You could turn that into a guide. I asked all my
Yeah.
local followers about blah, blah, blah. Here it is. Like
Yeah.
that is such fun content. Talk about interest media. People live there.
Yes.
That's where they shop. That's where they want to support. That's where they go out to eat. And now they're going to get all the other locals' inside information. And even if you're a local, you still want other people's opinions. Like you don't know everything
Oh,
as a
yeah.
local person. That's why I always say, like, don't try to know everything in a holiday guide. Like
No.
instead make the guide that's like from your perspective and then invite other people like that to share additional opinions or examples or places that they love. And
Yeah.
that becomes such a cool piece of content. Like, yes, every local place that's featured in it would probably share it.
Oh,
Don't do it
they'd
from
share
that
that in a
perspective.
heartbeat.
Yeah. Don't
Yeah,
do
I
it from
mean,
that
they'd be stupid
perspective.
not
But
to. Right, you're
yeah.
not doing it to get something out of it. You are doing that, first of all, to have content to share for your business. But you are doing that because you are a local business owner who supports local business owners. Like that if that is not the definition of like a modern agent, I don't know what is, but it's like
Right.
sometimes people say like, "Oh, I'm just a homebody or I don't go out or whatever." Like you don't have a choice. Like when you're in business, and you serve your community, you have to get out and about. And it doesn't mean you have to participate in every single thing or spend all your money in every single place, but that's not non-negotiable. So if you're already out and about and you're already doing these things, and even if you can't personally buy all of those things, if you just buy one thing from each store, but then document a few other things that you could do, like that will help. That can not only give you content, but that helps so many business owners and like helps people see the importance, like what you said about that reel, like helps people see the importance of like this is what supporting local actually looks like. It is more than just like going to them on Black Friday. This is a bigger deal than that, or Small Business Saturday or whatever. So I love that so much. Fun
And you
idea.
could even make a reel or a post like what I just said, like that girl. Like if your last 5 packages were from Amazon, then maybe you should think about supporting this city name local
Yeah,
businesses this Christmas, like something like that. Like you can put your own spin on it. Think of the people that are going to share that. We need to make that piece of content too.
I'm going to.
Okay.
I'm really excited
For
about it.
Modern Agent.
Yeah.
I thought of that when I saw the reel and then I forgot about it. But yeah, like just think about that. Like talk about getting excited about something. You want people excited about your content. You want people to come back. You want more engagement. You want like all these things people list off that they want, but then they don't do the things that align with that answer, right? Like they want the emotion. The
Yeah.
emotion is what makes people want to follow you and want to work with you and trust you. It's always about the emotion. So
I love it. Okay, we kind of touched on email a little bit, but what kind of emails would you be sending to your people as we kind of wrap up this episode?
okay, so I have one
Mhm.
going right off of what we just said. An email if I'm consistently emailing right now, I would send an email saying, "Hey, I saw this reel. This is what it said. I'm going to commit to shopping local as much as possible this season. Can you hit reply and tell me your favorite local spots?" There's one email.
Done.
Done. Other emails, I think it's bringing people behind the scenes of your own life during the holidays. Like maybe you don't send a holiday card to all of your past clients, but what you could do is put a family photo in an email and just talk about your family traditions or what you're doing. Like use it as a storytelling moment and then invite people to respond and tell you their holiday traditions or their must haves. Like this season can really be about community and about conversation starters like that because everyone wants to talk about their own holiday traditions and their own favorite movies and their things that they love to do. Like it's such an easy way to get people to respond. And like just for saying so, email marketing isn't necessarily something you do to get a bunch of responses. Like
Right.
emails aren't that like if you think about yourself, how often do you respond to like emails that are coming from
Right.
an email list, right? Like you're not responding saying that was so fun. But when you intentionally put pieces in there like that, it can help generate those responses, which can just help you talk to people you haven't talked to in a while. And
Yeah.
maybe you personalize it a little bit more this year, or you do send some direct emails to like this year's clients and you bring that, picture of your family into it or whatever. Or maybe you reach out to get I guess you should have their address. Like get their address to send your Christmas card. You should have their address. But like little things like that, like I don't think it needs to be anything like overly creative. It's like we're
Mhm.
just connecting during the holidays, right?
Yeah, exactly. So to wrap this up, and I feel like this was so fun. I love like spitfiring ideas and then be like, "Ooh, I'm gonna do this. Now I'm gonna do this." And I'm sure some people that are listening right now are like, "I'm gonna do all these things." Don't try to do all of them. You don't need to be the hero, okay? But I would pick one, maybe two, and like go all in on it. Whatever the thing is that we talked about, go all in on that one thing, and see how it goes. Like, I'm so curious to see how it all goes. Like, and focus on like just building that connection with people. You can always change it next year if it didn't go over well or whatever. But I think that if you go all in on one thing and like try to do it well, I think that you'll get some results that you're excited about.
Yes, definitely. And remember our favorite post idea if you don't have the time and you don't have whatever it is. You don't want to use Canva, you don't want to
Hmm.
like put anything together, a photo dump. Like just rely on
Yeah.
those. Like this week in photos and you add a little holiday tagline or something that has to do with your city and real estate and you and
Yeah.
whatever. Like me being Santa, this city and whatever. Like I don't know. Just name
Yep.
it something cute. Use ChatGPT to come up with something and share a little like a couple of photos from your week that mix real life, real estate and local. And that could
Hmm.
be all you do each week of the year to end on a note with something really super doable for you that are you those of you who are just starting out with all of this or you don't know or you don't have time.
Yep.
That's so easy. That and your
Yeah.
1 minute a day in stories and you will be very recognizable in
Yeah.
January 2026.
Which is what it's all about, man. I love
Yep.
it
Yep.
so, so much. This was so
Yes.
fun.
It was so fun. Happy holidays. I wish I could play some Christmas music, but I think they would cut it out.
I know, right?
All the licensing and stuff. Okay. Anyways, go play some fun holiday music and we will see you next Tuesday.
Bye.
I'm so glad we got to hang out today. If you're as sad as I am that our time is up, I've got good news. There are a couple of different ways we can keep the conversation going.
First, follow us on Instagram at Modern Agent Marketing Girls and introduce yourself in the DMs. Also, we always have a free Modern Agent resource available, so check out today's show notes for the goods.
And finally, hang out with other go-to real estate girls like you and finally create a marketing plan that works when you join Modern Agent Social Club. All the details are in today's notes.
XOXO, the Marketing Girls.